The city was loud, but Julian's world was silent. At 32, he had everything. A high-paying job, a luxury apartment, and a life others envied. Yet every morning, he woke up with a crushing weight in his chest. Before his eyes even opened, his mind was a battlefield of worries, deadlines, and regrets. He would spend his first hour scrolling through social media, feeling inferior to strangers. To the world, Julian was successful, but inside, he was drowning in a grey fog of misery. One evening, after a particularly soul-crushing day, Julian found himself sitting on a lonely park bench. He noticed a gardener nearby, carefully tending to a single rose bush. The man was elderly, with weathered hands and a face that radiated a peace Julian hadn't felt in years. Julian watched him for a while, then finally spoke. "How can you be so happy doing such a simple job?" he asked, his voice tinged with exhaustion. The gardener looked up and smiled softly. "Happiness isn't about what you do, son. It is about what you choose to see." He reached into his pocket and pulled out 3 small white stones. He placed them in Julian's hand and said, "Every morning, before you leave your bed, count 3 specific things you are grateful for, using these stones. Not big things like money or fame, but small, real things. The warmth of your blanket, the sound of the birds, or the fact that you have another day to try again." "But what will this change?" Julian asked skeptically, staring at the stones in his palm. The old gardener resumed his work and said, "It won't change the world, son. It will change your sight." Julian was skeptical, but he promised to try. The first day, it felt forced. He struggled to find even one thing. He picked up the first stone and mumbled, "I'm grateful for my mattress." They were empty words. The third day, he was about to read the headlines of bad news when his eyes caught the stones on his bedside table. He picked one up. "I'm grateful for the hot tea last night." Small, but something. The 7th day, something shifted. As he held the stones, he remembered the way the sun had hit the autumn leaves the day before. He felt a tiny spark of warmth in his chest. The 12th day, on a rainy evening returning tired from work, he saw a man feeding a stray cat from his cart. He stopped. He saw a smile. That night, he picked up the 2nd stone and said, "I'm grateful for the kindness of a stranger that made me smile." By the 21st day, Julian wasn't just counting his blessings, he was looking for them everywhere. He noticed the kindness of strangers, the taste of his morning coffee, and the strength in his own lungs. One day, looking out his office window, he saw for the first time that new leaves were growing on the trees lining the road. His life hadn't changed, but his vision had. He realized that grey fog wasn't the world. It was just the lens he had been wearing. One evening, he was passing through the same park. His eyes fell on a young man sitting on a bench, his head in his hands, just as he once had. Julian stopped. A soft smile of peace spread across his face. He walked forward. The young man looked up, his eyes clouded with despair. Julian reached into his pocket, feeling the same 3 white stones that now always stayed with him. He looked at the young man, a knowing smile on his face, and walked on. The story was not over. It was only just beginning. Julian had learned the greatest truth of all. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by choice. And that choice begins the very moment you open your eyes.